Let's go live to New York and speak to Shoaib Ahamed, who's an adjunct professor at City University of New York, Pace, and Columbia University. Professor, thank you so much for your time. What have your students been saying to you over the past few weeks?
Thank you so much for having me. Students are reaching out for so many different concerns. Many of the concerns are related to this is being their final week of the semester and how do they participate into the final exam, or how do they submit the final projects if there is any. And many of them are distressed. I don't think the distress comes from the protest itself. I think the distress comes from the crackdown on the protests that we are seeing, the militarization of the police forces, excessive force being employed, and a number of arrests that's being made in last couple of weeks, and most notably last night.
What are they saying about Gaza to you? I mean, that's after all what has prompted all of this. When they talk to you about the reason that they're possibly even putting their academic careers in danger because of what's happening on the other side of the world, what are the words they use?
Sure. So we have to understand one fundamental thing, that is the young generation, those who are 15 or 20 years old now, they don't live into orchestrated media propaganda anymore. They have been watching what is happening in the Gaza from social medias, and television stations like Al Jazeera and TRT World are doing a fantastic job showing what's really happening in the field. So it is not the mainstream media and their orchestrated news that can control them anymore. They can make their own mind. And for example, what is happening right now in Gaza is devastating, and the starvation, famine, and hunger has been using against the innocent Palestinian people. 6 universities out of 7 universities in Gaza has totally been destroyed, and their schools has been destroyed. UN shelter has been destroyed. 34,000 people has been killed. Majority of them are women and children. So when the American students in different universities sees this happening, and they feel complicit because Congress just passed $96 billion aid to Israel and Ukraine and Taiwan, they feel complicit, and they feel like they have an obligation to not being a complicit of this genocidal war, and that's why they're on the protest, and I believe that's how they feel right now.
Yeah, and how much of their anger is directed at the White House, and how much at the administrators of their own universities?
Excellent question. The Republican Congress persons and the Republican Party as a whole sees U.S. universities as a playground for leftists and Democrats. So they feel like they need to attack our universities. That's why we saw House Speaker Mike Johnson was at Columbia University and telling the Columbia University president to resign. And we saw that happened 2 months ago when presidents of MIT, Harvard, and UPenn was called to the Congress in a testify against anti-Semitism. Many of their questions were highly objectionable, and it was directed toward very trick questions, I would say. And as a result, the president of Harvard and UPenn had to resign. Now, just 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago, Columbia president was also called. And no matter how much she would be agreeing to this Republican congressperson, they would call for her resignation anyway. So the question is, the U.S. universities, they need to play their own role, which is embedded into the academic freedom and research. That's not what is happening. With the too much force in the peaceful protest is actually telling us that the democracy in the United States is right now in very vulnerable position.
Professor, thank you so much for your time. Really, really appreciate it.